me a little bit more about that and also some of the challenges around bringing different sectors together.
This is an important value for us in that if you're going to build communities of opportunities, we believe that there's a couple of things that you got to do, and that it starts with you gotta empower community. This is not about professionalizing community building. It is about joining our professional expertise with that voice, wisdom, and experience that comes from community to do this work. And so we enter in community with that humility and recognize that, communities will move when they want to. They don't care about grant cycles. They don't care about your new shiny initiative. You can do all that at your own peril, but communities are dying for and needing us to join them with our expertise and our ability to bring what the science says works, etc., and to join that with their energy, with the things that they care about. And so what that might often look like is we may want to start with, say, early learning or third grade reading as an example, and discover that before we can get to third grade reading, we've actually got to deal with housing, because that's the pressure that is on our community. So for us, it is starting with what's the pain in the community that we must deal with, and then we can back into our thing. And what we discover is that when we don't go into community building that way, it really creates a very toxic environment where our hopes and fantasies about what we could have accomplished are soon dashed. So we start with that. We hold community to the same standard as everyone else. We believe it's not about just calling a meeting of 100 folks and just getting them in a room and saying, what do you want? It is about this collaboration getting clear about what are the results that we are putting at the center of our work. And then what is the contribution that everyone must play? Because see, until you can tell me what your contribution is, there's no value that you're bringing. And when you don't have value, you act out. So for us, whether you are a community resident or anyone else, we say the price of admission to any of our meetings where we're doing this work is to own a contribution. Because if you can't tell us the results, if you can't tell us that indicator or measure of progress that you're working on, and if you can't tell us your specific contribution, it says a couple of things. It says, one, our container is not the right container. We haven't set it right for transformative work to happen. Two, it says that we're undisciplined and being very sloppy. And three, it says we have just probably increased the probability that we're going to fail because we haven't aligned the beautiful contributions of all the partners. We simply call the meeting, and we projected into our undisciplined way of coming together our fantasies about what we hope to happen. But we haven't brought our operational expertise to the table to actually make it happen. So for us, community is essential to doing this work. It is not about pacifying community. It is not about placating them. It is about saying, these are your children. You do need to own something that's going on in your house to make their lives better. And as your nonprofit colleague or your government colleague or your business colleague, I too have a contribution to play in that. Now let's put them all together and get them aligned right. What we say is we want to get everybody in high action and high alignment so that we can do this work at a scale that we rarely achieve.
So do you find when you go in, as you're often not coming in to a blank slate, right? You're coming into a community that has, perhaps had a lot of undisciplined efforts. So if you're seeing sort of the seeds of, the right stuff happening, but not the right kind of rigor or discipline, is it possible to kind of sharpen that focus and bring it back on track, or do you have to go through a recontracting process with the key players? Like, what does that look like?
So for us, I believe this is the work of the Promise Neighborhoods Institute, and I think it is the work of intermediaries that we have to call out bad practice. You just got to call it out, and it doesn't matter what's preceded, you got to call it out. And you got to so the first step is to develop the muscle to start setting this stuff up right for success. But even when you do that, there's still mess that we got to go through. But if it's not structured right, you got to clean it up. And we start by cleaning it up by being clear about what are the results and the indicators that we're trying to achieve. Because until we have that, we often end up churning because our work isn't grounded. So yes, we believe that we always say if we're going to add value as an intermediary, our voice must be disruptive but respectful. And by disruptive, what I mean is we've got to disrupt those old patterns of behavior that get in the way of being effective. So that's what we do. We will call it out, and we will begin to fix it together.